Welcome, Solarah here. I hope you guys are doing well today. I have a message. I do have some downloads, but I do want to get into the cards because I don't have a full picture here. I will tell you that I'm feeling like something very specifically this past Saturday broke off of someone. So if you felt something shift in your reality on Saturday or even Sunday, this message might be for you. I will say that we are at a really interesting time in the sense that there is another split that's occurring in the collective. And this split is, again, catering to more desperation energy because where you go, many will not be able to follow. On an energetic level, for some of you, literally physically, where you are about to go, many will not be able to follow. So before I get into all of this, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you if you are visiting here for the first time. Welcome. Welcome if you're returning. Welcome if you have been here from the beginning or you joined somewhere along the way. I invite you to do the YouTube thing, please, to make sure that if you're vibing with my content, to hit the like button, to share, to comment, to subscribe if you haven't already. Yes, with that out of the way, okay? I want to also thank all of you for all of your support across platforms, especially those of you who have joined me over on SUBSTACK, whether you've joined me over there for the free subscription or whether you are paying the monthly membership. I appreciate you just being there and showing up. I really do. Thank you for supporting me across platforms. Because every time I get a new member over there, I receive how it is that they came through. And I've been seeing that a lot of it has been by way of sharing. So I thank you so much for sharing my work and helping me to rise into my purpose in this ascension and in the new earth. Quick announcement before I get into everything. I have just begun a series over on Substack until the end of the year. It's called A Word for Your Day with Solarah. And that is based upon the fact that many of you said that you really appreciated the short form videos that I kind of sporadically was like in the mood to do at the end of last week, and I posted, and I don't have the stamina between my writing schedule and being a mom and appointments and everything to be able to offer that to you on a daily basis. And in all frankness, I don't like to channel like that continually on video. But I do love to share encouragement daily. And so I'm sure my children will be very happy that I am finding another way to do it instead of giving them their daily TED Talks. I'm just joking. I'll still give them their daily TED Talks. But that's my gift to the collective, is to every day give you a word of encouragement based upon the energies, based upon channeled messages, cards that I pull, etc., etc. So I invite you to join me over there on Substack. If you become a member for free, you will receive those messages directly to your inbox as soon as I publish them. If not, you won't really know when they're published unless you're just going to keep on going back and hanging out and seeing. So I suggest that you do that. I won't continually publish them on the community board. I'm just going to do that in the beginning so I can get the word around and people know, but at a certain point I won't be putting the link there every single day. So yes. What else? Let's get into the messages, okay? So, weird thing happened on Saturday. Saturday, one of my children broke something, and in the cleanup, I came across something lodged all the way in the corner under a radiator, and that was, I found a little post-it note with my writing on it, but I have no recollection of writing this at all. But as soon as I picked it up, I knew it was a message, so I put it on the side. My guide said to me, pull up the charts for that. And so what the message said, it's right here, this little post-it note. It said June 26th, and then it says Mercury in Cancer, and July 1st, Neptune RX. So I have pulled up those charts, and as soon as I pulled them up, I started to get downloads. So I've shut them down until I'm ready to record, so that when I open the tabs up again, the messages flow. But I will say right off the bat that although I feel like this is an energy that's referring to this year, in this particular window between June the 26th and July 1st, because those are the charts that they had me pull up, I do believe that this is this energy predates that also, because when I pulled up the charts, I don't believe on June 26th that Mercury was in Cancer, which indicates that I wrote this note not for this past summer, but maybe for another year. I wrote it down. So yes, but we'll get into that. So I've been on a bit of a treasure hunt with Spirit as these messages have been unfolding. So that first message came through on Saturday evening. I'm chilling out with one of my trees. I have different trees I go and I hang out with. And I'm hanging out with one of my trees, and I'm chilling and tuning into the energy. And all of a sudden I start to channel a message. And I feel this sense of something breaking. Something broke off of someone on Saturday, and something broke off of you if this is your reading. Something broke off of you based upon a series of, it feels like a series of workings that have not really been succeeding for whoever's been doing this, but it may have been causing you a lot of discomfort. And the reason it hasn't been succeeding is probably because you've been fighting it. So I'm not here to say in any way that it's like it's been comfortable, but I will say that whatever it was that they desired to accomplish, they didn't, and they haven't been. And the reason I say that also is because I did do a pre-pull. I have some of the cards out here still because I want to get 11:11 on my clock. I wanted to get into this message. And I wanted to remember some of the messages coming through, but I'll put the cards away and start again. But one of the cards that came out in the pre-pull I did even before this, it was again that card of stealing ground while ungrounded. And again, this is making me feel that this is an act of desperation. Whatever this person has been doing, it hasn't accomplished what they want to accomplish. Okay? And I feel like this message is coming through because, like I said in the beginning of the video, there is this split. There is this splitting that's occurring again within the collective where, especially through Sagittarius season, many people are going to be jumping into higher timelines. And it's been this window between the equinox that occurred when the sun entered into Libra all the way through the end of Scorpio season. It's been this window of trying to pull people out of that ability to launch ahead through those gates, through that portal, you could say, but to get forward in order to reach those higher realities and timelines that, in all frankness, a lot of it will begin to materialize through the end of the year, but really the beginning of the year through Capricorn season. Capricorn is the energy where a lot of this begins to become real, okay? And when I say begins to become real, your progress of what it is that you've been moving through and breaking out of throughout this year. But this Libra Scorpio window is always a really it's a really important energetic window because it's a window in which we get our fields get equalized in accordance with our ability to move through the depths of the energies that are designed to take us under, based upon all of their spells and rituals that, in all frankness, are designed to make you fail. Scorpio season is really like how they're showing me. It's like when you begin to pass through treacherous waters, and the waters are only treacherous because they're made to be treacherous by way of all of the crap that's thrown at us, but they're waters that can only be gone through if we have calibrated our fields through Virgo to be so radically honest with self, and we've learned how to wield the power of both our higher and our lower selves, meaning we've learned to wield the power of our evolved energies as well as our shadow energies, and we've brought that everything into wholeness in order to move forward to a place where nothing and nobody can try to sling things at us that's going to take us under, that's going to take us out of our place of knowing who we are. So Scorpio season is a season where many people get lost in the density and the heaviness of the energies and the emotional energies, but also in the heaviness of the crossfire, because the Scorpio energy produces the possibility for us to fly. It produces a possibility for us to soar. And in that, if we are to fly, if we are to soar, if we are to rise like the phoenix, we must be prepared to burn shit down to the ground. We must be prepared to let things turn to ash. We must also be prepared to deal with all of the heavy energies, the densities that have kept us from rising before. And so this is what the Scorpio energy is. It's so powerful to do in us, but the problem is that most people don't know the power of this energy. They don't know how to wield it. They're still very much connected to the mindsets of the Matrix, where the self-hate models, the self-hate spells of the Matrix that are designed for us to constantly reject self and reject one another as soon as we hit an energy that we've been told is shameful, instead of diving deep into it and finding out what the message is so that we can rise from it, rise out of that energy and rise like the phoenix. Instead, we hit that wall and we try to sling that energy elsewhere. And so for that reason, because Scorpio energy invites us to go down into our shadow and to deal with all of this shit, most people don't have the capacity to do that. So Scorpio season invites a lot of shadow slinging, and this is what I'm talking about, being lost in the crossfire, because not only are you dealing with your own shadow, your own shit, but now you got to deal with other beings who are unconscious, or they don't want to deal with their own karma, and they don't want to deal with their own the repercussions for their own actions, or they don't want to deal with their own darkness, and so they're slinging it at you as if you don't already have to deal with yours too. So Scorpio season is like, it can feel like a minefield, and this year has been especially potent in a beautiful way, in the sense that if we learned how to wield our power through these scorpionic energies, then the Phoenix energy is going to be all the more, alive as we move forward. But at the same time, because we're working with energies, we're working with different poles, right? So on the one hand, this energy produces a quality where some are going to soar and some are going to go kersplat, and they're going to fall off of the fake wings they've been flying upon, because the energy will no longer support it, because there's too many of us that are waking up and flying now in our truth. And again, flying in our truth. A lot of angelic activations come through the Scorpio window, and through Sagittarius season, they are activated. And Sagittarius season is gearing up to be a time where many of us are going to begin to reconnect on a deeper level with our quote-unquote supernatural abilities. Learning again how to utilize and fine-tune your energy in accordance with your commands over your reality. Okay, so that's another message that was coming through. Now, this is important because this person that has been doing whatever they've been doing didn't want you to get through this window. And there's something about another card that came out was that they knew who you were from the very beginning, and they were trying to hold this back. There's something here about someone like understanding the activations and what they're supposed to do for you, but also knowing how to deactivate you. And that's because they've been doing that for a while. They've been heavily deactivating you for a while. And for some of you, this isn't a person, this is a freaking agency, this is an order, this is a coven, this is group activity where they have been purposely deactivating you through these portals, through these opportunities for so long that they can't figure out how the hell you are outsmarting and outwitting them through this cycle or through this window, or how you've done it, for a longer time. For some of you, you've been gradually, making your way out of this labyrinth for years. You get what I'm saying? At every turn, you elevate, you get higher, and at every turn they think, oh, let them keep going and thinking that they're getting somewhere because we have the next window, we're going to get them the next window. And it's just like, it feels like at this point, this person now is losing their confidence, and they're seeing, or this group is losing their confidence, and they're literally seeing you get away. So what I was seeing on Saturday, and it's interesting because a few weeks ago this message was coming through and I never really delved into it. I told you guys I was getting downloads about the Soul Star and the Earth Star. What I was seeing was that somebody tried to do work, especially through, and it will become clearer as I pull cards, but this is a download, especially through the Scorpio season window where a lot of these death portals are open and the frequencies are sent out to pull people into lower vibrational energies. Somebody was trying to bind you to the old world grid. They were trying to bind you to the grid of the old world, which to me is really desperate. It's really desperate. It's a really desperate act because on the one hand, that grid is coming apart, right? I don't know, but to me, it just reeked of desperation is what it is. But they tried to bind you to the old world grid. And my guides were saying the reason why it was done like that was because something to do with they couldn't play with your timelines anymore. So maybe you're a person who's been doing a lot of work to collapse timelines, to align with timelines. You're doing all of that, but there's something here with how they couldn't mess with your timelines per se, but they could try to bind you to the old world grid in order to keep you in order to kind of secure you in an older karmic energy again. So this message might really resonate with you if throughout this window you felt like you're constantly being, like how they're showing me is like pulled back and coming back up, almost like someone drowning, someone like pulled underwater but coming back up, pulled underwater but coming back up, like some kind of force was like pulling you underwater, but you kept on fighting to come back up. And when I say pulled underwater, I mean 1 minute you were feeling like you were riding the waves, like you were overcoming something, and then the next minute something would occur to make you feel as if everything was kind of falling apart. Or another thing is like you are everything that all of your intuitive, and they're with my phone, all of your intuitive hits were not real. Just a lot of like bobbing back and forth. And the truth of the matter is that we are existing between many worlds right now, but this is like an energy of all of a sudden out of nowhere you felt like it was harder for you to get out of certain energies. And again, another thing was I was seeing it really affecting someone's left side. When I felt that thing shift and break, it broke off of the left-hand side. And I believe the left-hand side, some would say, is your feminine side, right? But it's interesting because it rules the right side of your left brain rules your right side of your body, which is your masculine side. So your masculine side, your right-hand side, your hand, for example, your right hand is where you you give out your power, and your right hand is how you receive it. So there's something here about how somebody wanted to stop you from like using your hand of power, using your ability to almost your ability to bring order into your own reality. So there's many different things that are happening here. On the one hand, it's like wanting to take your authority and your autonomy and your ability to have that execution of power is really what it's like. They can't take your power, but it's like they wanted to take your ability to execute it properly. Because I was really feeling the whole, they tried to bind you in general to the old world grid, but when it released, I felt it on the left-hand side. I saw it occur, and I saw it break. Okay, so let me get into the pre-pull that came out. Then I want to tell you about some of the other energies that have been coming out around this. So at the bottom of the deck, what came out was they had full conscious awareness. They read the TNCs and did it anyway. This is just pure wickedness. I don't know if I mentioned it already, but I was getting very heavy karmic sibling energy and heavy feminine energy. So even if it's not a woman, it's a person in distorted feminine energy. So here we go. I want to put you in a box and keep you to myself. So this is again containment energy. I was feeling very strong shut up spells, also like trying to silence someone, spells to hide you or make you invisible. Okay. We do have all major blocks have been removed. Okay, that did fly out. We do have mad because you peaked their game. Somebody knows that you are on to what it is they're doing. And maybe that's provoking more desperation, but really what I feel, it's also provoking more anger. Anger, it's almost like this person, it's like, how dare you know this? Like, how dare you thwart my plans for you? That's kind of the energy I'm getting. We've got sacral block, attack or distortion. So that's not surprising to me at all, because I was, I think I mentioned that I was getting that Saturnian sex magic energy coming through. And the Saturnian sex magic energy, as my guides have broken it down to me, like, Saturn is all about, people will use the Saturnian energy in its, shadow to try to bind in time, which is why they came to me on a Saturday, the day of Saturn, to show me this. Try to bind you in time. Once you get higher, like dimensionally, the laws of time and space that limit the 3D change, they shift, and they want to keep you limited. Okay, so this is an important thing to know, because, like I said, as we move into the Sagittarius window, as you climb and you access more of yourself back, what you're doing is you are opening the door to your infinite potential. When you are climbing dimensionally, you are opening the door to your infinite potential. The 3D reality kept you finite. It kept you limited. And the way they did that was by way of the Saturnian, fucking with Saturnian magic. Exploiting the shadow side of Saturnian magic and fucking around with it. Right? And all these orders were doing that. Even, you see some of these fucking celebrities, and they've got like Saturnian energies, and they flaunt that, okay? So this is what they were using the power of Saturn to try to bind you. They were exploiting shadow energies of Saturn, which can also mean entities. There are angels that are connected to planets, and there are lower vibrational energies that are connected to planets. It feels very much like they were using something dark when it came to Saturnian energy, and something very low vibrational to try to bind you into the 3D reality when you are here now, and you are due to rise. And part of the reason why that didn't work for them is because of the ascension, is because of who you are, is because of where we're going, and that magic it can't stick. Even if it has some kind of an effect, it cannot stick, it cannot root. But this is a group, effort, and there are very real reasons why they want to do that. It's because they don't want you getting, or they didn't want you getting to this next level of these angelic activations that were coming through this window, because what it means is that you are getting closer and closer every time to reconnecting with your infinite potential. And what that means for us as a group is the more that we do this on an individual level, the more we are pinging and setting off one another, and also the collective energies of the planet. So this is so much deeper than just a personal attack, right? What else wanted to come through? Another thing that was coming through, I kept on getting seal energy, like sea lion energy. It was coming through very strongly. Today's Monday. It was coming through very strongly yesterday. And I didn't think anything of it until I sat down here today to do this reading. And they said, look it up. So I did. I looked up sea lion animal medicine. And let me see. Whew. It says seal's medicine includes protection during change, dreaming and lucid dreaming, imagination, creativity, protection from danger, movement through emotions, and the inner voice. Okay. Like I said, many of you are going to a place that other beings cannot follow you to anymore. They cannot go where you're going. There is another collective split that's happening, and I feel like the seal energy is supporting that. Another interesting thing that I was reading with like seal animal medicine is that the fact that they live in the sea but they give birth on the land, and that energy of the water and the earth has been really, really prominent throughout Scorpio season, especially with where the planets have been. There's been a lot of water and earth energy. I think especially with the new moon in Scorpio, the chart was predominantly all water and earth, I think, if I remember correctly. And water and earth is interesting because water, when you think about how things come into the fullness of fruition materially, the last stage they must come through is through the waters. So I'll often give the example of the tarot. The way the tarot works is it shows you elementally how something is birthed from spirit into material. So it begins with the wand suit, which is fire, spirit. Then it comes through the mental planes, which is the swords or air. And then it must become more densified through the waters, which is emotions, dreams, intuition, and it's from the waters that everything is birthed onto land. So the land energy is a sublimation of the waters, the air, and the fire together. It's the culmination of those energies that produce what we experience materially. So the fact that there's a lot of focus right now, 23:33 on my clock, there's a lot of focus right now on the water and the earth. There's literally, it's deeper than just a shift that's being birthed. It's like a monumental, it's not even the shift. It is that the new earth is crowning. That's what it feels like. It feels like the new earth is crowning. It feels like we've reached a point where everything is about to be made real in the material. That's what it feels like. And it almost feels like this energy that has that you had to break off of you or broke off of you over the weekend. It feels like this energy can do nothing at this point but try to make you believe that you're not in labor. Make you believe that it's not happening. And so but it can actually stop anything at this point. It can only like delay and bring confusion and bring and try to get you into states of despair. But yeah, the sea lion energy, very much like this, earth and water, water and earth energy. And of course, everything is connected by water and separated by water too. All realms exist just past the waters. So the protection during change was a big thing. Now I want to, there was another thing coming through about London Bridge, and I don't think I'm going to go into that right now, but I kept on hearing that fucking Fergie song, how come every time you come around my London Bridge, wanna go down like London, London, London? And it's less to do, it might have to do with the geographical point, but it's more to do with some of these rituals that they've been doing. I went into the history a little bit of London Bridge and how it once was a site, like the nursery rhyme London Bridge was kind of a macabre nursery rhyme in that it dealt with these stories of how they used to lock up children or people, but especially children, in dungeons and just leave them to die. And some of it was to do with sentencing, and another part of it was to do with sacrifices. And the reason for it was because they thought if they had a dead body in the bridge, that's what would stop the bridge from falling, which in and of itself is really interesting. There's some kind of collapse that is happening, and this is deeper than just, this is like a collective energy. There's a collapse that's coming forth. And, yeah, I don't want to go into that right now. Let's go into what I was picking up here. I have the chart for June 26th. Somebody did something in this window. They did something in this very particular window, the June 26th to July 1st. So it's, go back in your own mind, if you take notes, your journals, your dreams, to kind of like connect with what that was. But when I pulled up the astrology for that, the sun was at 5 degrees Cancer, the moon was at 11 degrees Libra. So 11 is of course a Libra degree in terms of the tarot. Astrologically, it is a degree of Aquarius, and this was another energy that's been coming through a lot. This trying to prevent those of you who are, it's time for your next level up in terms of what it is and who it is you came here to be in the age of Aquarius. There's some kind of like reckoning. It's time to rise into that position for some of you, and it's almost like this person, this group is very aware of that, and they are they're trying to prevent that, to delay that, right? But this also feels very much connected to, like I said, it could be a sibling. I was getting mother energy, matrilineal energy with this Cancerian. What else was coming through? Oh, this was what I found really interesting. So when I looked into today's energy, right, what they showed me was that Jupiter is at 8 degrees in Taurus and it's retrograding. But if I go back to June 26th, Jupiter was in Taurus. It wasn't retrograding, obviously, but it was at the same mark. So Jupiter was at the same mark on June 26th. It was in 8 degrees Taurus as it is today. Yes. And like I said, something occurred between this window, June 26th and July 1st. And when I look at the July 1st chart, Jupiter has moved into the 9 degrees. And the moon is in Sagittarius at 18 degrees, which is interesting because that's, 18 is the energy of the moon in the tarot also. So something is coming out of the shadows in Sagittarius season. Something is coming out of the shadows. That's what I feel like. Something is coming out of the shadows. And not for nothing, Jupiter energy is, Jupiter is the planet that rules Sagittarius also. There's something very significant that I feel is happening moving into Sagittarius season, and they wanted to prevent this. And let me tell you, like I've said before about, earlier on, the infinite energy. Jupiter is the planet and Sagittarius is the sign that they will often say to us in traditional astrology is connected to travel, right? But for me, what my guides have shown me is that Jupiter is actually the planet and Sagittarius is the sign through which we begin to connect to our ability to travel interdimensionally. And a lot of these activations and codes that have been coming in that they've been trying to deactivate us out of over time, but especially through this window in a lot of desperation, a lot of those codes are about to come online for many of us in ways that they don't want to happen. Now, the Sagittarius energy is also connected in the tarot to the Temperance energy. It is the Earth Angel card. Like I said, we have had a vast window of angelic activations that have been like showering us through the Scorpio season, right? And they are, it's like we're going to be able to move in the power of them through the Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius, when you break it down, it is connected to, you break it down into gematria where every single letter has a numerical value and you add it all up. Sagittarius is the only sign of the zodiac that breaks down to 144. Sagittarius is what rules over the thighs in the body. Okay, so it is the energy that allows us to take out our energy into the world. I will often say that the Sagittarius energy, it is the truth liver of the zodiac, meaning that it allows us to take our truth and begin to walk with it. Okay, Jupiter, not for nothing, works with Saturn in the sense that whatever Saturn decides is what Jupiter dishes out, whether they are rewards or penalties. Saturn and Jupiter are the two planets that are over law and order. Saturn keeps the records, and Jupiter is what comes in after to give whatever it needs to be given in order to bring the balance, a karmic balance back that Saturn has kind of decreed. So think about that, right? If we are moving into Sagittarius, which is ruled by the planet Jupiter, and we've come through a very strong window of equalizing our fields through Libra and especially through Scorpio, which is about the shedding of the energy so we can rise, right? And then we've also dealt with this Saturn retrograde and Saturn going direct right before, right before the new moon in Scorpio, a week before. Right now we're entering into a season of karmic restitution, is what it really feels like. So karmic restitution means that depending on what Saturn has decided is what is about to occur for us on an individual and a collective level. So that means that some people are due now for karmic rewards and other beings are due for higher expressions of karmic justice, which we're already seeing begin to roll out. So what it feels like this being or these beings have been trying to do is to get some of us, or maybe this is you specifically, to get some of us bound to the old world grid in order to kind of delay the karmic process. I was also seeing swapping of again that attempt to put karmic illnesses onto other beings. Okay, there's doppelganger energy at play here also. My guides were showing me that when these beings do doppelganger, especially when you're working with beings that are close to you, that have, within your family, that have put you on the chopping block in order to tap into your divine resources, there is an exchange that occurs that materially in the physical, it's like you get something of theirs and they get something of yours, because that's what's happening in the spiritual. So it will materialize sometimes in the physical in really weird ways. So, for example, if they have some kind of aberration, like, I don't know, like they have a sickness, or they have some kind of thing that begins to happen on their body, and you could chalk it down to aging, you could chalk it down to illness, to anything, okay? But it's something that begins to change in them. That very thing might be the thing that begins to shift in you out of nowhere, and you don't know why, but you have this thing that you're sharing. I hope that makes sense. So you have this thing that you're sharing, this and I don't know how big it is. They were showing me like small things, like small illnesses, like maybe skin issues that you both share. You get what I'm saying? There's some kind of shift in the energy where through the process of the swapping, and I'm saying this because this would have occurred whenever this person, if this is a being in your family, in your circle, whatever, whenever this being decided to sign on to this, karmic swap, you would have noticed this happening. Or if you think back now that I've said it, you might have noticed something occur, especially if that person was in your life at the time. I'm saying it because as it leaves now, and as they try their best to hold on to you, you might begin to exhibit things that actually are theirs. And you need to give that shit back, because what it is it's them still trying to cling to your energy for dear life so they can continue to do their karmic transfers. Give that shit back to them. It's not yours to hold. It never should have been yours to hold. Okay? This was really some kind of act of desperation that occurred between the, and again, another thing that was coming through was that this isn't only about, this is not only about your light body activations and you connecting to your infinite, your infinite and multidimensional abilities. It's also what that means for you. So many of you, by rising into these abilities, you are aligning yourself with divine unions. And that's another thing. Trying to prevent these divine unions from coming forth. And as you are probably aware, the 1111 portal is one of those portals that brings us into alignment with union energies, and not because of all of the twin flame shit they like to spout to keep people trapped also, but because the 1111, it's about the alignment of your gateway system in order to receive resources. When you are out of alignment with you are a series of gates in your energy field. And it's kind of like when, I think I've already used this analogy before, but I'm going to use it again. When you arrive on an airplane at a destination and they connect you to the airport through those funny corrugated things that, they collapse and then they can pull them out. Or electronically they get pushed out and they align with the gate of your airplane so that it creates a corridor between the airplane and the airport, so you can walk from the airplane to the airport or from the terminal into the airplane. That is like how, the gates align in the physical. That's like an example, right, of an airplane connecting to a building through a gateway system. Your energy field is full of gates that connect you interdimensionally to different things in the cosmos that allow you to live as a multidimensional being that is able to bring forth certain things from different dimensions into any reality that you exist in. It is your birthright. It is your energy field. When you enter into this, into the matrix, They disable you of that ability, and then they continue to disable you by telling you you're something you're not, so you never even begin to think outside of the box they put you in to begin to recognize and realize that that is possible for yourself. Well, this is becoming more possible again. And as you align your gates with where they're supposed to be and you kick their entities out of the way, because the other thing is they've had entities, their entities manning your gates. And every time you sign a contract where they're telling you that you are aligning with an entity, that ultimately is what you're doing. You're giving up access to your gate. A famous agency declassified documents back in 2020 in the height of the lockdown. And what was their project called? The Gateway Project. You are gates. In every single contract, you are aligning yourself with an entity. And what you're doing is you're giving up your access to your gates. And many of you, if you're doing the work to wake up and to heal and to clear yourself of these energies and these entities within and without, but within especially, then you are regaining access to your gates. Not only are you regaining access to your gates, but you're regaining the protection that should have been in place in the first place, so that those entities could have never blocked you. So all of this is being, this is what they've been trying to do also recently, is to put back those entities in your gates in order to drag you back down into a 3D reality that is no longer yours. This is the second time this came out. This came out in the pre-pull when I used this deck. Psychometry, energetic invasion and measurement using tools and objects. There was also, I was seeing a woman, an older woman and a young boy. And the boy, when I say young, maybe like, late teens, maybe early 20s. This woman is some kind of practitioner, and she had some kind of young man who she was teaching how to do these things, and she was going to standing outside of someone's house in the moon cycles. But this that's a whole different message. I don't know if that's going to resonate, but another thing is that in this window they may have been sending you things to ground their spell work, sending you shit in order to try and ground their magic. Water and stagnancy magic, yes. That has definitely been, I don't know if I already mentioned that. The water and the stagnancy magic, I've been picking that up a lot. I think I did very briefly when it had, because of the sacral energy that was coming up. The water and the stagnancy magic, there was a message that was coming through about that also. Water and the stagnancy magic, it was like at some point it was like they weren't trying to, like the death magic, the putting endings wasn't working, so it's almost like they wanted something to just decay. To become so stagnant that it kind of eats itself up. So it is a form of death magic, but it's not like, I don't know how to explain it. Like death magic a lot of the time is putting an end to something. But this is like, I can't get it to work, so let me try to mess around with the environment in which it's surviving. I hope that makes sense. It's like the difference between trying to kill someone by shooting them versus, injecting them with something that's going to completely destroy their biology. One is an instant thing, another is a slow burn, where there are many other variables that have to kind of, I hope that's a good example, but that's what it is. It's like, it's not like that, it's not like that explosive death magic. It's like, let's try to get something to eat away at this situation. And it could have been something that they've been sending to you since Cancer season, right? What was it? It was June. What was the date? June 26th was the date that came through. Yeah, June 26th. That is Cancer energy, sign Cancer. But this is the energy also. You know, like, if you want to think about it, it's a cancerous energy, like trying to get something to eat up life. 11th house, again, I already mentioned that energy of trying to mess with your ability to rise into your position. Somebody has been, invading your energy and trying to measure where you are vibrationally in terms of whether you will be 2355, whether you would be ready for like the next stage and phase of activations. Money blocks. Okay, so this is to do with the stagnancy energy. This is also to do with trying to mess with the root chakra, trying to mess with your stability. You know, we talk about this all the time, but trying to mess with your stability so that what it is that you need to do in order to be activated is either delayed or compromised. Now, with the 11th house, I'm reading what I wrote here. We do have group power and dynamics. So this again is speaking about, this is something that is being enacted by a group, even if there is a very specific person that they're using from your family or from your circle. It still is a group energy and a group activity. I've got here hopes, wishes, dreams, fears. So this is an energy that's really been trying to play on disconnecting you from your hopes, your wishes, your dreams as they've been shown to you, as they've been planted in your heart, and to make you have a lot of fear around things not coming to pass that you've been shown are due. And the fact of the matter is that many of you, if this is your reading, you are on the cusp of breaking through into something quite powerful, which is why there's so much resistance. There's only resistance when you get to a place that they consider to be such a big fucking threat, right? Sexually transmitted spirits. I was getting that especially towards the end of last week. What you need to understand and understand is that the Scorpio energy is connected to the womb. It is connected to the sacral energy, so that a lot of the sex magic happens during Scorpio season. Maybe that's why I was picking up on Saturnian sex magic, because a lot of the time when I pick up on sex magic, it tends to be Venusian. But this time around, my guides were very specific. They were saying Saturnian sex magic. And that is to do, there's something here to do with the transfer of, again, like I was saying, the transfer of karma, the transfer of illness, the transfer of the spirits and the entities connected to these illnesses. This is definitely something here. We have accidental poisoning. That card came out last time I did something with this deck. That again is the same energy I picked up before. It could be a myriad of things. It can literally be someone giving you food, but really what I'm picking up more than anything is the poisoning of one's environment. That's really what I'm getting. You have been being watched and monitored your whole life. Chakra, etheric, and psychic surveillance. So I already kind of said, before that this is someone who knows when activations are coming through. And they know it because they've been watching you, they've been monitoring you your whole life when these activations occur. And they've been using these psychometry devices and these situations, magic, people, all manner of things to keep you from rising into knowing who you are, so that at every activation you'd fall into lower energies and you wouldn't be able to reach the frequency you need in order to get the activation. And it's failing now. It's failing. You are being called to connect. You are being called to work or connect with water and or water beings, spirits, or deities. So this is probably to shift some of this stagnancy magic that they tried to place upon you. Working with fresh, with living bodies of water can be really effective, right? Ooh. And the truth of the matter is also, even with this money blocks, your money is your energy is your currency. Money is currency. They tell you it is to do with the flow of water. So all of that is connected to the reason they do the water stagnancy energy is to literally fuck with your energy flow, so that it can also support the shit that they do to try to block your money. Nothing else wants to come out from this one. Let's do the other half then. There's a very, very there's a very, very famous song right now that is named after that element also, making all the rounds on all the social media. That's not a coincidence either. Somebody actually, I think, quoted it in my comments at one point too. They squandered your wealth and value. Now they have to answer for this. Solar plexus block, attack or distortion. Coming out again, I want to put you in a box and keep you to myself. Again, trying to contain. Why are they trying to contain you? They're trying to contain you to stop these activations from occurring, but also because some of you have been their little, their muse. You've been their cash cow. There's something about your energy that has allowed them to prosper in this material reality, and the more they lose access, the more they fall. Whether it's through money, whether it's through the access they've received in the world from worldly beings, enterprises, and all of that, or whether it's health or all of the above. Yeah. Where do you want me to go? Immunology. And regarding that song, what I have to say about that is that the music that they put out, this is nothing new. A lot of people have talked about this for, I think I first heard about this, right after I gave birth to so it's been way over a decade. They do things before they release music. They have rituals. They dedicate songs and records to certain energies and entities that therefore, that energy is fed as we listen to things. That energy is able to connect with us through the listening of things. So when I say something like what I said about that song, it's not about a song being good or a song, like, it's not even about the direct words of that song so much as what is the ritual connected to. Why do they want a song circulating so much? And sometimes, they'll give you clues with the title, as I have with this one, but you can almost always be pretty sure that there is some kind of spiritual and energetic component to anything that they allow to take off in the matrix to that magnitude. There's a reason they let it. And not, I shouldn't say they let it. There's a reason they promote that. Balance, spirituality, and practicality. We do have full moon in Pisces. Let's see what actually came out though. What do you need to release? Expect powerful change. And you're, yep. Okay, so what do you need to release? What do you need to let go of? What do you still need to let go of? Okay, and the main energy I'm really getting at this time, there's a lot of doubts that need to be cleared out. As Scorpio, the sun moves to 29 degrees Scorpio as you get ready to move to Sagittarius. Let the Scorpio energy sweep away the doubts, because that's something that's a real hindrance right now, is falling into states of disbelief and self-doubt about where you are right now, how you've come so far, because this is the energy that's really wanting that they're wanting you to like come under and to be suppressed by, right? And we do have expect powerful change, but it is in the challenge position. So the change is, it's new moon eclipse energy. It's like inevitable. Something new is coming forth. And it's coming forth so powerfully that it's going to eclipse out an old reality. Okay, so, but in order for that energy to, for it to take, it must, you must clear your fields of that, of any attachments to old narratives about you that support your matrix persona, is all I can say, that support the various alters, which is really what it is, because all of it is MK Ultra programming. It's just to what degree that supports the various alter egos and personas they need you in order to have their entities manning those gates, or have you out of alignment with your own gateway system and multidimensional, your ability to multidimensionally connect. Okay, your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. Okay, so I'm trying to think, when was the full moon in Pisces? That would have been in Virgo season. Oh, I remember that full moon in Pisces. That was one hell of a moon. I remember being out for that moon. There was a lot of very sneaky energy, a lot of trying to get people to turn against one another, especially in the spiritual community. And that was a month before the full moon in Aries. It was like the precursor to that energy. A lot of suspicion. Okay, well, at the bottom of the deck, we do have balance, spirituality, and practicality. Full moon in Pisces. Pisces is also, Pisces is also it's the last sign of the zodiac. It is what completes a cycle. But Pisces is the energy that you must overcome, because it's 12th house, is all those hidden energies that want to come, that want to masquerade as being something they're not, to keep you stuck in a karmic cycle. Hence the reason why the 12th house is over, like karmic relationships and stuff, and hidden enemies, and even enslavement, because the Pisces is the window out, it's the door out, and you can't get out if you're still falling prey to those moon energies that want to take you under, or those moon energies as they are, made real through people who are trying to cloak themselves and hide. So what I'm really feeling here more than anything with this full moon in Pisces energy, and this message was coming out earlier on today, it is a time to be so loyal to your own intuitive guidance, so loyal to it, because there's a lot of energy that wants to come up right now to cause you to doubt and second guess yourself, especially based on your material circumstances and what it is you're feeling in the midst of all of this. But what you're feeling right now in the midst of all of this is the pressure that you need to feel in order to move forward. So don't mistake that pressure for don't mistake that pressure and that resistance as something that's pulling you back, when really it's designed to help you to move forward for as long as you are in sync with your soul's truth and your true story versus the false narratives that these karmic energies, these hidden energies, these moon energies want you like contracting yourself to again. And with this, your hard work is paying off. Remember I said Capricorn season tends to be the season where a lot of things begin to materialize. It's through the sun in Capricorn that certain things, and I'm not talking about like drastic changes or everything, although for some people it is. Capricorn begins to materially reveal the energy of the previous cycles and what has been accomplished. But again, you have to have eyes to see in order to move with the flow and to let the energy continue to move in the direction you want it to. So Capricorn season opens up right around the solstice, the winter solstice if you're in the northern, and the summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. So for us in the north hemisphere, Capricorn season is right when the sun goes into its lowest position, and then it begins its process of waxing and rising again, right? So the Capricorn energy is the beginning of something coming back to life, right? And in their energy harvesting calendar, they like to use those 3 days where the sun is, I don't know what you would call it, but the sun is in a position of like recalibrating itself to begin waxing. And so although we see the sun, it's still there. Energetically speaking, it's kind of in a holding state. And they use that energy planetarily to fuck with us. It's right in the Christmas season, and then we go through a window right after Christmas Day, right into the New Year, smack in the middle of Capricorn season, where time and space shifts. There are a few days where time and space shift. It's like a liminal window, and everyone feels it, but not many people are aware of what that is, but that's what it is. You know, those days between, we're always joking about it, those few days between Christmas and the New Year where you don't know anything, you can't remember your own name and all that other stuff. It's because you're literally, we're floating in a space, like we're floating in this liminal place, where time and space, let's put it this way, time and space is fragile, more fragile than it normally is. But anyway, that's what I have for you guys. I hope that this reading was helpful and insightful. Oh, you know what I need to do? I am finally ready to say, to do the one-to-one mentorship, to give away that free one-to-one mentorship that I promised about a month and a half ago when my channel hit 10K. I apologize that it's taken me a while to get around to doing this, but it's just been a very, very interesting time for me, and I needed to get through some stuff before I could commit. So I am ready to choose a person to do one free mentorship one-to-one with me via video call. And the way that you can enter is if you can simply, in the comments, drop a blue heart. No words, just a blue heart. And the reason I'm asking you to do that is because for me, when I go through my comments and I just see the heart, I can write down the name. I don't have to read words. It's just going to be very easy for me to grab at the name. And what I will do is I will put all the names in the hat, and then I will let you know, I will announce in the next video and on the community board, and then you can contact me via email, and we can arrange a time. So if you are one of these people who, for privacy reasons, you don't want to do that, My apologies, but I had to figure out a way that worked for me. So there will be another giveaway coming up too. I'm going to also be giving away a few free memberships to my Substack, free paid access to my Substack. So stay tuned for that. That again is to say thank you for getting me to 10K and my apologies for doing this all belatedly. Okay, so I'm sending you love, joy, peace, patience, beauty, focus, every beautiful thing under the sun that is ultimately yours when you are walking in divine alignment because you know who you are. Okay, for all information on how to work with me, to connect with my Substack, my other channel, Solarah Rises, it will always be in the description box below. Take care.